Thank you, Mark, and a big hello from London. When I trawled through my daily charts last Sunday night to look at the weekly patterns, I became increasingly concerned by what I saw. There were a large number of coincident patterns happening not only at the same time, but in the same direction. The issue was that the majority of them were weekly immediate countering patterns. But before I delve into this too deeply, I think it best if I highlight the weekly patterns that did not have weekly immediate countering tendencies. So, there was a weekly key reversal down last week in Ethereum, the cryptocurrency. This week, well, we've seen basically nothing. Neither a follow-on lower or a reactionary move higher. Indeed, we were very close to Sunday night's closing price, and this is despite a significant move higher on Monday. We've actually ended up with a pair of 2 indecisive doji crosses in a row this week. The other one was a weekly key reversal up in the Baltic Dirty Tanker Index last week, which has seen some movement, but in the wrong direction. So far this week, we've had a reactionary move back down. No. The real weekly action last week has been in the currencies. Now, my personal point of view is that the currencies are the key to all other markets. What you see in currencies leads us to all other financial products, securities, stocks, commodities eventually. They are a litmus test, if you will. Now, this is just a personal opinion, and you can either agree or disagree. So what I saw were a total of 20, yes, 20 weekly key reversals in the currencies. What is more, they were all of them US dollar positive. Even the ones in the crosses, such as Euro yen and Sterling yen, they could be seen to be US dollar positive. I do not recall seeing so many currency pairings all move in one direction, in one technical pattern, all at the same time. And I've been practicing technical analysis since the mid-1980s. Additional to this was how a majority, 11 out of the 20, behaved. 11 of these weekly key reversals were immediate countering weekly key reversals. That means they were strong enough to counter a dollar negative weekly key reversal made during the previous week. Here is a full listing of weekly key reversals from last week. There were weekly key reversals up in US dollar Brazilian real, US dollar Mexican peso, US dollar CNH, the spot offshore Chinese yuan, US dollar CNY, the onshore Chinese yuan in the 1-month NDF, and as well as the 1-year NDF, US dollar Polish zloty, and US dollar Macedonian dinar. These were all the currency pairings that made fresh, new US dollar positive weekly key reversals. The following are the ones that made immediate countering US dollar positive weekly key reversals, thus negating a weekly key reversal that was US dollar negative made during the previous week. They were the US dollar index itself, Aussie dollar against the US dollar against the Indian rupee, euro against the US dollar, euro against the yen I've already mentioned, sterling against the US dollar, sterling yen I've already mentioned, Kiwi US dollar Danish krona, US dollar Romanian leu, and US dollar Hungarian forint. Once again, I emphasize how I do not recall so many currency pairings making such a weekly move, especially an immediate countering weekly move, all at the same time. Now on the surface, it looks like an overwhelming keen and dramatic endorsement of the US dollar. And you could see it simply as that, and simply that way. However, I would also look at it from the point of view that the majority were immediate countering moves. And in this, there is possibly more to read. You see, this could be seen as not necessarily constructive, and not just on the face value of such patterns, because as such patterns, too many times I've seen this as an indication of a troubled market with indecision, not just on an hourly or daily indecision, but indecision on a wider weekly scale and cross-currency nature as well. I'm not saying you should discount the dollar positive moves, but to watch out, as it may be part of a greater action that does not necessarily fit in with the immediate US dollar positive narrative. In other words, just beware. Looking at the resultant action from these moves in just one example, the US dollar index, we can see that there has indeed been a follow-on higher to the immediate countering weekly key reversal up seen last week, but has not been of a size, in my opinion, to fully justify what we saw there last week. Not yet, at least. As always, I'm happy to answer any direct questions of anyone who's interested. And with that, I'll finish this section from London. I hope you found these comments useful. Thank you for listening. This weekly broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. Copyright is Eddie Topic and ADM Investor Service International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.